cutting off.
Hey, what's up, your boy? Wait a minute.
Oh, you're there.
Wait a minute. Hey, what's up? It's your boy, 24/7 here with 24/7 Fusion Media, and I am joined by the one and only my co-host, partner in crime, New Bomb Turk. How's it going, brother?
It's going.
Doing all right. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. You know, I didn't. You know, we just started. I didn't even get to ask him how he was doing when we was talking for a minute. So, but yeah, man, I'm glad to know you're doing all right, man.
Oh yeah, I got some sleep too, so
we
pretty much awake.
Let me see. I noticed that.
Did we lose you? Well, it looks like 24 may be having some problems again. Oh, and he's out. All right, I'm by myself. Hell of a start. Well, let's see here. Trying to fix it. Okay. Let's see. Bring up some info here while we're waiting. Oh, there he is.
Holy shit. Yeah, man. Internet does what it wants to do. Yeah, but you know, hopefully everyone's having a good weekend. Brother, I hope you're having a good weekend, man.
Oh yeah.
Man, so I know this weekend I was kicking it with Loki and yesterday Loki and Nick from Echo Base Network, along with Eris of Chaos. It was cool, man. Saw Boogie 2988. Yeah, he was sitting off in the corner, chilling. And then I seen the whole cast of Pokemon. So I seen old girl. Yeah, I seen old girl that does Ash Ketchum, and then the dude that does Brock, and just the whole cast was there, man, and it was pretty interesting. It was pretty interesting.
Cool. I was gonna say, is Boogie still a big dude, or has he
Boogie,
lost a lot of that weight?
he lost some weight, but he's not as big as what he used to be, but he's still bigger than me. So I don't know, man. I'm 6'3", I weigh 300, and he looked like he could have doubled me up, man. So but then I've seen him I've seen him, but then that's always on TV, man. I don't know if it's one of those things that people look bigger or smaller on TV, that kind of shit. Thank you, Lady Miss. But yeah, it was interesting to see him, though. He was sitting down the whole time, so he never got up,
Right.
Shit like that. But he was doing free, he wasn't charging nobody for no autographs, taking free pictures, and all this other shit. So it was him and a bunch of other YouTubers. Like, he was the only one I recognized.
Mm.
Everybody else, I'd never even fucking heard of him. But it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for a while there, he lost a bunch of weight,
Right.
And he kind of got in that trouble with drawing a gun on somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think he shot him or some shit.
Yeah, he fired a warning shot, and I think he got in trouble for actually firing, because you're not supposed to do that.
Right. They say if he was going to just shoot him, you just shoot him, but not do all the extra shit. Yeah, it was interesting. We was talking about that yesterday, and yeah, that was we were all talking about what happened to him yesterday in the car, what was riding around and shit. But man, I tell you, it was cool, man. Everybody was nice. Folks were real nice. I couldn't complain, man. So
little mini meetup.
Yeah, and I was looking forward to seeing Keely Child there, man. But Keely said he had to work at NRG Stadium. He had to work, so he couldn't make it. I know this Wednesday we're supposed to be getting back together, going to this comic book store called Space Cadet, and they have a pizzeria in the comic book store.
That's a novel idea. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, I ain't never seen that shit neither. And the pizza's fucking outstanding. So they do great pizza in there, and it's gonna be a good time. Me, Loki, and Nick from Echo Base, man. We're gonna kick it. We're gonna record and the whole shit, man. It's gonna be great, man. We're gonna have a great time.
Good deal.
Yeah, man. So
yeah, I'm kind of hoping that they do another Dallas meetup this year.
Right. Well,
or
that's
something anyway.
Right. Well, I know Loki said he won't be probably doing like what he did. He probably won't be doing that again until next year, because he's getting married this year, and
right,
all kind of good stuff is happening. So,
well, that's why I couldn't do Vegas this year, because I just started this job and I don't have the time off built up. And I'm also the time off that I do have available to me, I got to use that to work on my other car. So,
right.
Yeah. But they were saying they were supposed to do another Vegas meetup like at the end of the year. And I was like, that's insane.
Yeah, I heard about that, man. Well, what's up, Zax? Sentient? What's up, man? Hopefully you boys are doing all right. They saying what's up to you too, man.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. I heard about that, man. To be honest, this just kicking it with Loki and Nick.
Yeah. I think you froze.
It made me see why people love these I see how fun it is to meet up with people and walking around and we looking at cool shit and talking about this and that. I kind of miss that kind of shit, man. And
right.
I can see why people gravitate to it, man. I now know what I've been missing with all this, man, and that's definitely a part of it. man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, some good shit, man. I definitely, I definitely I got to do it again, man.
Oh yeah.
It was too much fun. Yeah, shit, man. If next one, man, hopefully, if I could see you and New Bomb and a bunch of other folks that can make it, I would love to see everybody, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
At
mean
one
that's
point or another.
the only thing I didn't like about Vegas last time was the time of year, and I think that's why they changed it this year because everybody it was so hot. They did it in the
Right.
middle of August, and yeah, it just became a bigger and bigger issue. Like 'cause you
Right.
couldn't walk around and do anything because you were just immediately sweating. Like as soon as you started to move,
Yeah, I heard about that.
yeah. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I got to meet Matt and Red Shirt and a
Oh
bunch of other
man,
people actually.
shit, man. What's Matt been up to, man?
Um, gosh, lately, pretty much he's been doing that the Friday night thing.
Right. I don't see him
Yeah.
on as much as I used to, man.
Well, they stopped doing the Culture Crime Fighters. That was Vidge's decision. So he kind of switched gears and started doing a recorded thing with his friend Daniela,
Right.
um, which is more about relationships and stuff like that. I don't know. Not exactly my cup of tea, but all the power to him, I guess.
Right. So he switched up gears.
Yeah, a little bit. But he did do an interview the other day with another comedian that he had posted. That's not sure the guy's name, but
Right.
they had a YouTube channel. Other than that, yeah, just a Friday thing. But I don't typically catch a ton of that because I got to work.
Right.
So
Right.
I like pop in early and then save my LOs and then dip out.
And dip out, huh? Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been on a Friday in, I don't know, probably 8 months to a year.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
used to
it's
love. Yeah. I used
difficult
to
when
love.
you're working a non schedule.
Right.
But other than that,
Man. So, since he said, "Where's Baron?" He's moving today, man. He got him a new spot, trying to get his shit from one place to another. So Friday nights are a shit show as usual.
oh
I wonder where at over
no,
at
yeah, it is a little cocktail thing, whatever he calls it.
the
Um,
cocktail lounge. Yeah,
yeah, I mean
you know,
it is what it is.
right. I see he got a new cast of folks on there. Uh, but hopefully, he's doing good, man.
Yeah, I think he's doing fine.
Hmm. Well, did you let's uh
Oh, there
let's
we go.
real quick. Wow.
Okay. Oop, did we lose you again?
No, I was saying that it looks a little small.
Oh, yeah, I don't have it because I don't typically zoom in on stuff.
There you go. That's yeah, that's a little interesting. So you know, I was before we came on, I was telling Newbaum like, "Hey, did you hear what was going on with Marvel Comics?" And he was like, "Nah, what's going on?" So I sent them, you know, this link so he can, you know, we could pull this up. And I know I had just dropped a video where I really laid into this shit, but basically, and I think the only reason why this is happening is because of DC Comics. But what's happening is Marvel Comics look, now this is not their 80th anniversary. It's not their 85th anniversary. It's not their 90th or their 100th. And this is their 84th anniversary. And for the 84th anniversary of Marvel Comics, they want to put out a Marvel Age issue number 1000. Now, when I was a kid, I bought the first Marvel Age comic to ever come out. Right. Marvel Age, you guys can look it up. It came out in 1983. Marvel Age issue number 1. It had a character called Crystar, and there was a toy called Crystar and the Crystal Warriors, and it was cool. He was like a crystal warrior, which what he was, of course, he was made of plastic, but he looked like he was some kind of crystal. And you know, they used to fight these monsters, and I had like a good collection of them when I was a little kid. And I remember when Marvel Age number 1 came out, me and my older brother went to the, you know, local little comic spot that we bought comic books from, and I ended up buying an issue, and it went for 25 cents for issue number 1.
That's insane.
A full-fledged comic. So, you know, of course, they would have charged like 65 or 75 cents, but this comic book went for a quarter. And so Marvel Age went on for maybe a couple of years or a few years, but it went for a few years, and then they canceled it.
Right.
And that was it. So now it's fucking 2023, and they want to come out with Marvel Age issue 1000. And again, I think they did this because Batman hit issue 1000, Superman hit issue 1000 first.
Right.
So you got Superman, Action Comics, if I'm not mistaken, hitting issue 1000, and then you have Batman hitting issue, I think probably Detective Comics hitting issue 1000. And
now, so let me ask this:
go ahead.
Were those natural 1000s, or did they just jump the numbers to get to 1000?
No, actually, they were natural. They it's funny. It's funny that you say that, because let's say between the New 52 was when, if there was anything that was really ongoing, there were some books that got rebooted and sent back to issue number 1 or whatever. Batman and Superman never did that. And actually, for Marvel, in a lot of their reboots, they still kept a lot of their shit linear, like going straight through until the last like fucking 5-10 years or so.
Right.
They started stopping a lot of the long standing runs and going back to issue number 1.
Right.
And
that's the thing that I wonder, because I know, like, especially with Detective Comics, you had other Batman runs or Bat Family runs that were running parallel to that. So there was separated stories.
Well, I mean, you had Detective Comics, and then you had Batman.
Right, exactly.
And then I guess it depends how much further you were going on in the years. Then of course you had like the early 90s, and you know, Tim Drake had his own run as Robin, and then of course Nightwing, you know, ended up having his own run. If I'm not mistaken, Nightwing is probably running on his second run. Like, I think he has he came out with his own Nightwing series back then, but then he has an ongoing series right now that's like at issue 80 or 90. So if that's the case, then whatever his first run was like during the 90s and early 2000s, that shit must have stopped. And then probably I would have to say about 6-7 years ago, They restarted with a whole nother Nightwing series with a whole brand new #1, and that's why it's at issue 80 something or 90 something right now.
Right.
So
yeah, I always knew that they had like parallel stuff, so it wasn't they didn't have the need to end, the Detective Comics, because they also had parallel stories.
yeah, man, it was it was cool to see. See, now I'm see equally as fucked up as Marvel has basically, like, look, I'll tell you like this. Let's say Marvel is 84 years old, which means that it came out 59.
Right.
It had to Marvel had to come out to be 84 years old in 2023. So 1959 to 2023 makes Marvel 84 years old. So with that being, you if you, let's say your longest running comics, if they wouldn't have fucked around, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Avengers, Captain America, let me see who else would have stood the test of time. Like, yeah, Hulk, Iron Man, Avengers, Captain America, and Thor would have probably been. Oh, and Spider-Man, and the Amazing Spider-Man, and the Fantastic Four.
Right. Well, the Fantastic Four was what, 62, 3?
Right. But as far as like coming out in the first maybe 5 years of Marvel's existence,
right.
These were all your basically your key players, in comic books that represented Marvel Comics.
Right.
And if anything, they've been your most, and then of course X-Men. But these have been your longest standing books, tried and true, that are the backbone of Marvel.
Right.
And just to think, out of all of them, I'm not sure where X-Men is at right now. I'm not sure, and I haven't looked it up. But as far as everything else have gone, if I'm not mistaken, every comic of Avengers went to at least about maybe 300 or 400. Iron Man went to maybe 200 or so, maybe 3, and before they started like kicking them back and starting over with brand new #1s.
Right.
Avengers, and Captain America went to like 400 or 500.
Well, I was going to say, because Captain America came from the ashes of the prior company, wasn't it?
Yeah, if I'm not like I think it was Timely Comics or something. Yeah, like an old comic. Yeah. He came from something. Right. He came from a whole nother comic book company and was integrated into Marvel, along with like Submariner is another character. Like
Cap had stuff just post World War II, didn't he? Like 40 something.
Well, actually, his was if I'm not mistaken, Captain America might have been 30. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking he might have been 38, 39, 40.
Right, because a lot of his stories were based on World War II.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole premise of why he was why he showed up to begin with was because of the war. So before that, no, I don't think Captain America wasn't even a deal.
Yeah.
But just to think, I mean, but just to know that they, like, these characters or their comics in some way, form, or fashion went through all these periods. And of course, when Marvel was doing this thing back in 59, 60, and they brought back Captain America and then came up with the Hulk and Fantastic Four, Avengers, X-Men. It was like a fucking renaissance of like fucking comic book characters, man. And
Yeah, issue 1 for Captain America for Timely Comics was March 1st, 1941.
Cool shit, man.
So yeah, no, that character's been around a long time.
Right, and then that's when he had the triangle shield.
Yeah, well, yeah, the more crest-like shield, like you would find in a coat of arms or something like that.
Right, exactly. Yep. So just think if you know, and I'll even tell you this: DC right now, they're going to cancel Flash and Wonder Woman and come out with a whole. They have like 2 or 3 issues left in their run. They both going to end in issue 800. Look, and so what happened? How this worked was the original run of Wonder Woman went from issue 1, and it stopped at issue 420 something. Right when Crisis on the Infinite Earths kicked off, Wonder Woman got canceled, and then around 1987 they came out with a new #1 done by George Perez.
Okay.
So what happens? The reason why Wonder Woman is at issue 800 was because they ended up picking up the run at some point in the last, I would have to say in the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, they picked the run back up. But when they did that, they added all the other Wonder Woman issues. That basically they were adding the old issues with the new issues to say, hey, we're starting this thing back up at issue 700.
Right.
And now I don't see why, man. And again, they're doing this with the Flash because they brought back Barry Allen, and and they decided to pick up back on this run. You ready? And so you picked it back up and got him all the way to 800 just to drop him again.
Yeah. Well, nobody ever said that people running these comic book companies were smart. Not now, anyway.
But damn, right. It's like, but why the fuck go through all the trouble to pick it back up and make it run that much more? I'm talking about after decades.
No idea. Probably because of sales at the end of the day. And it's the same thing with this one. Like, Marvel's doing it purely because they're hurting, obviously. And they need something to sell. So they figure a commemorative issue, which honestly, nowadays, special issues and special covers are so prolific and abundant that is it going to do what they hope it does? I don't even know. Because people got sick of like the alternate covers when there were so many of them. Like, some of the covers are great and they're a cool kind of nod to like other artists, because 9 times out of 10 the artist that does the alternate cover isn't the artist that does the original run. So it's kind of a cool look. And when it's rare, it's even better, because then it's like, wow, you've got that one issue that one artist did, and there's only like 50 of those versions of that cover available. Then it becomes a cool thing. But when you do alternate covers and there's 7,000 printed issues of that cover, then who cares? It's just an alternate cover at that point.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's what's up, James? James Gype in the house. What's going on, my brother? Yeah, he's fucking awesome dude, man. Thank you, James. Great to have you here, man. And if you all can please hit the like button. I definitely would appreciate it, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you, James.
Yeah, and I was going to say, this little quote right here is kind of telling. Like, a grand tour of Marvel's mythos with stories that explore the classic days of Marvel in exciting new depth. That little last part right there, in exciting new depth, scares me.
What it's funny. What I put in my video is that it's so. Basically, as I was going through everything and I was reading it, what basically jumped out at me is basically what you're going to do is you're going to take these characters back in their most classic form. So basically, you're looking at all these characters when they were back in the 60s or early 70s. Right. And if you look at who the writers are, what the creative teams for these books are, you know what I mean? If you want to read through it, yeah, look through it. They have a list towards the bottom. I think if you keep scrolling a little further down, right there. That's everybody. They got J. Michael Krasinski.
Right.
And come to find out, he's written like Amazing Spider-Man. He wrote Thor. He wrote some other characters. So obviously, I didn't know he had his his dealings in the Marvel universe. I had no idea. I know him from sci-fi.
Right.
So I didn't know he wrote comics. But if you look at what he's doing here, my whole point.
Nope, we lost you.
Yeah, fucking internet, man. But yeah, it's like, but my whole point was like wondering, like, well, it's like you trying to. It looks like he's trying to lay out some kind of layout for the old classic Marvel. But what is it going to be in his image?
Who knows? I'm betting that's going to be the case,
right? Because if you look at it and what it says, you're like, well, and so look, all right. So yeah, if you want to tell everybody, like because you can see it better than me. Like I said, I did the video, so I can't really remember. I was fucking going off left and right, man. If you guys.
Right. Well, I mean, for the most part, okay. So, like you mentioned, J. Michael Straczynski.
Right.
They're gonna create the Marvel universe in a backyard. Like, what does that even mean? It's a mini universe. It's a pocket universe somewhere else. Another multiverse thing.
Right. Or are they just letting J. Michael Krasinski basically mold whatever the fuck he thinks is his own impersonation of what this should be?
Right. And now again, it depends on, like, I don't see Fantastic Four mentioned in here.
No, they only bring up Human Torch. But then if that's the case, which one is it? Is it El Toro from The Invaders?
All right.
Or are we talking about Johnny?
Yeah, I don't. They don't touch on it.
There were two Human Torches, man. So if one is trying to find himself, more likely it was the android that later turned into Vision.
Right. And that had to do with what's his face, Ant-Man's creator,
right?
Or the guy who was Ant-Man originally.
You called Hank Pym.
Hank Pym, yeah.
Well, he still is. Well, I guess I don't know, man. I'm not sure. It depends who's telling the story or whatever the fuck. Right. Is either Hank Pym sometimes, or it's.
Well, the movies, it's Tony Stark.
Yeah, or it's the dude from the Ant-Man movies. So,
right. Now the first line definitely makes me think for a second, like, okay, in a backyard. Like, do they mean that literally? Like, okay, so Fantastic Four's, scenario, the son of Reed Richards, Franklin Richards, is this going to be one of his little pet projects? Like,
you know what?
He's going to create a universe in his palm.
Yeah, and even like, I don't know, man. Fantastic Four. I have to dig in. I have to figure out. I mean, I know this is completely off the topic, but for Fantastic Four, I got to figure out how the fuck does from Franklin Richards to Kang does he turn black? I have to. I don't. Whatever the fuck whatever that's about.
I think we discussed that when we talked about Kang the last time. like Kang, the version of Kang that is in the comics is a future version. So it's like 2350 version of whatever
Franklin.
Richards. Is it? Do they say Franklin or is it a different Richards?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be some. Like I said, the connection to Franklin is what the whole, and even then, that was more of a newer thing. That wasn't always the case with Kang, because Kang was out.
Right. There was no direct attachment to the Fantastic Four. He was just a future person.
Right. Exactly, man. So it's like, yeah. So Kang needs to get the fuck out of here with all that.
Right. Well, yeah, and from what I remember, the way they explained it was he was a descendant of Richards, as a whole. So,
right.
I mean, you go that far into the future, did some part of the family cross date with a person of color? And you end up with,
I mean, but even if that's the case, and you know how that shit works, how the fuck he look? How you come out black as hell like that, man? I'm just saying, being for real, man. If you know how that shit works, when people come and how he come out like he's like Nigerian black, like I ain't trying to hear that shit, man.
He's Nathaniel Richards is future Kang. Yeah. I mean, and I'm looking at the information. Like they just say he's from the future. So, he's other Earth 31st century. And take from that what you will. I mean, I guess whatever other Earth means. So it's obviously a multiverse thing.
Right, multiverse. Right.
Right, where all the Richards are people of color, I guess.
I don't know, man. I just think that's bullshit. Now, and if I'm not mistaken, I think I've seen that the multiverse of Richards, and I think it's like I've seen it be more of a variation of Reed than anything.
Right, because he kind of has the same intellect and
right, but one has a mustache, goatee, other one is clean shaven, another one, bald headed, another one is whatever, it's like
that was the Council of Reeds, and there were all these different Reed Richards from like different multiverses that all collectively got together to discuss things. But that really didn't come around till what was that? It wasn't Secret Wars. It was what was the one where the Crisis one where all the multiverses were crashing into each other, and Doom was the one to like save one universe and put effectively all the best versions of each character on that. But you ended up with like the clan of Thors, and it was like all these different Thors all in one place. It's really weird.
No, it was actually the Thor Corps.
The Thor Corps, yeah.
Yeah, which is, I mean, if you, I'd rather that they save all of them than just save one. If you have like Throg, the Frog Thor, and you got and then you got this one. He's like a punk rocker in the future where he got like long hair. He's like a younger dude with like a guitar or some shit.
Right. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, and and then of course you got Beta Ray Bill, you got Thunderstrike, and then you got
Thunderstrike, yeah.
Right. And I collected all that shit, man. I collect all of that.
Yeah, and what's weird about that particular story is they kind of vaguely run through and explain why like big groups of one particular character are there, but like Franklin is the Ultimates version of Franklin because the original Franklin didn't survive, but yet the family is the original 616 Franklin's family. Like it just nothing ever lined up right. And somehow Doctor Strange ends up being Doom's bitch, like his second in command or whatever.
Wow, yeah.
It was just, and then he basically just squashes his head and kills him. But yeah, but that's see, and that's the thing I didn't like about that, because that brought about, because once they resolved all of that, you ended up with different Spider-Men in the same universe, and for a brief period of time, like, you had all the Spider-Men in one universe. And I think that was wasn't that the virus one, where Spider-Man primary, like Peter Parker Spider-Man, ends up with a virus. He basically like a zombie virus.
Yeah,
it was weird.
You know, I don't. It's like I keep up with Marvel. Not just kind of like generally, just because I'm an old fanboy. But when Marvel went bankrupt back around like the mid '90s,
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I gave up on Marvel because it got to the point that every issue, hologram covered, foil embossed.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even like an issue that's something major. It's just every fucking issue of every comic, the fucking covers were fucking glamorous, fucking shine, holographic cover, all this shit, and and they were charging everybody hand over fist, like they were killing the fucking comic book game, man. And DC, they still had their comic books at like $1.75 or $1.50, and then fucking Marvel was $2.75, $3, and it was like, damn, for every issue. Like,
well,
fuck
yeah, that's a company trying not to go under.
Yeah, I mean, right. And at the same time, they're going bankrupt. Stan Lee, Marvel, they're fucking, Blade going to Fox, X-Men here, Hulk Universal, and basically Sony got Spider-Man, and that's where everything kind of, it's funny because, in order to save in order to save Marvel Comics, they had to sell the rights to the characters to different movie companies, and then at the end, when they became prominent enough, they have to sit there and wheel and deal with Fox to fucking get their characters back, plus Fox catalog, wheel and deal with Sony for Spider-Man. And then I hear that they're trying to, for Universal, trying to get back Hulk and Submariner. I heard that they're actually trying to give Hulu to Universal in order to get, it's like, they're trying to trade off here for something, I heard they're trying to give Hulu and everything on it for the rights for fucking Hulk and Submariner, because Submariner and Hulk and all the relating characters, like Betty Ross and all the little side characters that help, that are like the base of these characters, they're supporting characters,
story line and everything.
General Thunderbolt Ross. And for like Namor, what was her name? Namorita? No, there was a Namora.
Oh, his female.
There was a female that had a name similar to him, like Namora or Nomorita, some shit like that. It was like a female that swam in the water, and she had like her name was Namora or Nomorita, something. It was one of those two names. And like, like her and other people that are solely connected to Submariner were the ones that, they're trying to get all the rights to everything. And I heard that they were going to try to, use Hulu as the leverage in order to get back those characters. And I'm like, damn, you're giving up a whole fucking,
honestly, I mean, if you look at it, does Disney need Hulu? Not really. I mean, they were kind of saddled with it as part of the deal with Fox.
Right.
But they didn't necessarily need it. They just ended up with it. And for them to get rid of it doesn't surprise me, because Universal's
it's supposed to be like Hulu
setup is,
So it's supposed to be like Hulu and all this content. Like, here, you can, let me get the Hulk and Submariner. Like, shit. Like damn, and then and the thing is, if they're doing a world. Marvel's finally Marvel. They fucked up with the Hulk so much. Hulk has been basically
neutered.
No. Hear me out. With the Hulk, Hulk has been a subplot for every fucking Marvel movie. Think every movie or anything that ever had the Hulk in it. It's like basically they were telling a story of the Hulk underlining an Avengers movie. They did it with fucking Thor Ragnarok. You know, they put World War Hulk into Ragnarok. And if you look at every other fucking Marvel movie that they've had, they basically have shoehorned parts of Hulk's. I'm talking about big time Hulk stories have been fucking shoehorned.
Yeah, they couldn't do Hulk stories on their own, so they had
right, straight up. Yeah, they couldn't do them straight up, right? But at the same time, it's like you do all that just to cuck him at the end,
right?
For She-Hulk.
Well, and the Ragnarok one wasn't World War Hulk; it was Planet Hulk, because Planet Hulk,
right, Planet Hulk, right. Yeah. I keep thinking about the aftermath. Yeah, it's Planet Hulk. There you go. Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, they completely stunted that story because the whole idea behind Planet Hulk was he's on this other world, becomes their effective leader, you know,
through gladiator battles and shit,
right, and ends up creating a revolt. They basically find him to be, you know, the most worthy to be their leader. Right. He gets married, has a kid.
The wife ends up dying.
Right. And then something happened with the ship that he got there on. And
it blew up. Right.
And destroyed the world. And, you know, he was left like his wife is dead, his kid's dead, everything. And that's why he flips the fuck out and comes back. And the whole concept behind him getting back to Earth was crazy, because he basically he was left on one chunk of that planet,
right?
Jumped all the way to the moon from this alternate world, because there's there's little resistance in space. So one jump and he could literally make it all the way, light years effectively away, and land on the moon. And the first instance of World War Hulk was him going up against Black Bolt, right, his group. And Black Bolt, it was one of my favorite Hulk moments, because Black Bolt basically speaks to try to get rid of him, and Hulk just takes it like a champ. You just basically grimaces and all this shit's going on, and he just walks up to him afterwards, grabs him by the neck and goes, I didn't come here to hear you speak. I came here to hear you scream, and effectively just rips his head off. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, to see him go after the Avengers. He went through the Avengers, and then to see him go after Professor X, and he went through the Avengers like whatever, and then he went after the Fantastic. He went through the Fantastic Four like they weren't shit. Thing was like, you're not getting close to nobody. Thing got his ass fucking he got destroyed.
Oh yeah,
dude.
They all did. All of these crazy strong characters. The only one that could stop him was what's his name?
Yeah, you already know who it is. Yeah,
the Sentry.
Sentry.
And that was the only one who could match his power at that point,
right?
Because everybody else was just getting slapped around like nothing.
Man, I tell you, man, it's I couldn't look. I couldn't believe that, Marvel had turned around and they took basically all your best Hulk stories and made them subplots and in either Avengers movies or, Thor a Thor movie here or whatever he shows up in there. Again, they're gonna do it in Captain America 4.
Right. Well, and that's going to be interesting because you can't keep him as Professor Hulk. Well, whatever they consider him now.
Well, what's going to happen is something's going to happen in the next, I guess, the next 1 or 2 times that you see the Hulk.
Yeah, where he's
going to get out. To where he's going to get out of that Professor Hulk bullshit, and he's going to fucking go back to being a monster. And that's when, because they got they say they're not saying it's Planet Hulk. They're saying it's World War Hulk is coming.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because basically Planet Hulk, we've already seen that with fucking Ragnarok.
Right. And it was a bastardized story. So
right. Because basically it's the mashing of 2 stories.
All right. Yeah, there's going to have to be some event that causes him to snap. And I guess somewhere in between you have to do. Well, we know they're doing the Thunderbolts, and that this is still gonna drive me nuts because they replaced the actor, because he passed away. So now you're gonna have.
It was fucked up how they did that.
Yeah.
Just think. All right, T'Challa passes. All right, T'Challa, right?
Yeah.
All right, so
Chadwick Boseman. Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman. He passes away. They kill off Black Panther with him.
Yeah.
Which I just thought that was fucking batshit bananas, but they did that. Then of course, a little afterwards, William Hurt passes away. But then they immediately recast him with Harrison Ford.
Yeah, another.
And I'm like, damn, you didn't.
Jesus.
you didn't give a shit about William Hurt. William Hurt been around for a long time, and dude, they didn't even give him any of the. They didn't give him none of the love of nothing.
Oh no, the obvious reason is he was a white dude, and at that time, praising a white dude wouldn't have been a good thing.
Yeah, man. So I saw that and I was like, well, damn. So they bring in, Harrison Ford. And
oops, I think we lost you again.
So basically the whole thing to it is that they're going to have Captain America 4. It's called New World Order. And basically it's going to be a thing where the leader is coming in. And I heard it's supposed to be the same guy from the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
So he's coming in as the leader. And of course, so Sam Wilson, Captain America, is not fighting he's fighting Hulk villains.
Right.
He's fighting the leader. He's dealing with Thunderbolt Ross.
Right. And this is the Red Hulk, because you're not going to get to Red Hulk till Thunderbolts.
Well, from what I understand, this is where you might see him pop up as that Hulk.
So okay. So
because for the simple fact that if you watch She-Hulk, she mentions that there's a Red Hulk.
Yeah, which is crazy because that was such a dumb thing to do because we hadn't seen a Red Hulk or even heard of a mention of a Red Hulk up to that point.
Right. So
and it screws the timeline all up.
So basically, she's talking about somebody she's talking about somebody we haven't seen yet, or somebody that doesn't even exist yet.
Right.
But how the fuck would she know? Man, I'm just saying. It's like, it may be, the Asian chick, whoever fuck she was, that fucking was trying to troll, the director that was trying to troll the fans, She ain't nothing but a piece of shit anyway. But the fact is, like, they throw in so much shit in these shows and they don't even care about, breaking the fourth wall, mentioning a Red Hulk, all that bullshit. It's just, it's like they use it because it's a part of the character. It doesn't mean shit to the people that are fucking directing this. They don't give a fuck. They just trying to collect a paycheck, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, and we've heard it numerous times. Like, I've never read the comic books, but now I'm going to sit here and do a story for that particular character. It's like, how could you not have even skimmed the material prior? Because then you just go off in a random direction that doesn't fit the character, and everybody goes, huh? The leader be Klaus Schwab. Oh, that would be a nice little poke, wouldn't it? But they won't do that.
The crazy part is, from what they gather, what the character, since they don't read the comic books, how the fuck do they get the information on who the character is? Basically, they get this shit by someone telling them, okay, well, this is She-Hulk. If you know who the Hulk is, yeah, I think I seen him in the movie. Well, that's his fucking cousin, and she gets the fucking powers from him. And so it's like she don't read a book, she don't do no history. She probably somebody gave her a fucking a sheet of paper that basically summed up what the fuck She-Hulk is, like what do you call that, the what's Marvel Universe's yeah, because for DC it was a who's who. Yeah, it was a who's who for DC. Marvel, they had I used to buy those too. I remember I used to have like the Book of the Dead with all the characters that had died in alphabetical order. But they had one with all the characters. I forgot what the fuck they called that. It was I used to love those dude, only in the 80s, man. They sat there and from A to Z put every character, big or small, gave you the whole run. You just had to buy every comic book to to get the whole library. But damn.
Yeah, no, if I'm not mistaken, she didn't even write the show. It was another writer. So more than likely what they handed her was a script and said, don't fuck it up.
Right. What's up, Chris? And we got Chris Persian in the house.
All right. More than likely they were given something and said, stick to this and don't change anything.
Right.
And what she was getting was already broken to begin with.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's funny because it's like to have these people talk about the characters, man. They don't shit about them. Don't give a fuck. And it's like a lot of it is like some self-insert type shits. It's like, well,
yeah, that character wouldn't have done that way. The twerking was just dumb. But in honesty, I have a feeling that, like I said, the writers put that in there to try to make it cool and hip, though I don't know why they would think twerking is cool and hip, because I don't even think, do people still twerk?
Yeah, people still they still throw that thing out there. Trust me, if it's a good looking chick, you ain't gonna complain. So
right. But I mean, like as far as trends, as far as trends go, twerking was an early 2000s thing. I'm sure people still do it, but you don't see it as much. Pardon me. But yeah, I mean, it was a bunch of like mentioning the Red Hulk was like, hey, see guys, we mentioned this other character, but okay, he doesn't exist in your universe yet. Like, you mentioned a non-existent character just to get somebody to go, aha, see, he mentioned it,
right,
or she mentioned it, or whatever. And then the going behind the scenes, like, this is all a movie and or a TV show, and you have to follow the script kind of crap. It's more telling than people realized. Like, it's almost like Feige is an AI bot, just basically telling them, okay, here's your script, do your thing, and that's it.
You know, it's funny. Chris Persis says, box sentient dildo. I guess that's a little inside thing.
Okay, but we already know the leader was cast as the guy who was in Incredible Hulk, so he's not a POC. He's a white dude.
Well, and actually, that might be the thing why they might keep him as the same actor. It's like, okay, well, now you're the bad guy.
Well, yeah, it's an easy
Right.
transition. Plus, I mean, if they're gonna lean on the fact that Incredible Hulk technically was the same Hulk as the Hulk we have now,
yeah,
'cause
exactly.
that's theoretically what they were saying, and it's like,
Yeah,
okay, well, where the fuck did Betty run off to? Like,
well,
she just
actually,
disappeared.
she's in the movie.
Yeah, she's in that movie, but we haven't seen her since.
No.
And
Captain America 4, Betty Ross.
Oh, she's supposed to, okay, so one we haven't seen yet. Yeah.
No, but actually, it's the same actress from
Liv Tyler.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean,
She's coming back as Betty Ross.
So they're gonna try to tie everything together. Cool.
Right, exactly.
But there's all these missteps in between of mentioning things and that shouldn't have been mentioned yet, like the Red Hulk, obviously.
Right. Well, you know, the thing is, I don't know if you remembered. If I'm not mistaken, it was Captain America Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen it.
Fucking internet. Yeah, Captain America Winter Soldier. If you remember, Thunderbolt Ross came in and locked up Sam Wilson. At the end of the movie, Sam Wilson, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Hawkeye and
no, that was Civil War.
a couple of them got. Oh, the Civil War, exactly. That's
that was Civil War.
Yeah, at the end of Civil War, so William Hurt came in as Thunderbolt Ross, and he arrested Sam Wilson and a couple of those heroes at the end of Civil War. So basically, this is going to be them facing off after. Right. So basically, you're going to see Sam Wilson have a chip on his shoulder for being arrested for Civil War when he sees fucking Thunderbolt Ross now in Captain America 4. But then Thunderbolt Ross.
The weird thing about that is when they did the TV show Falcon and Winter Soldier, like, okay, so the fact that Bucky technically was still a what do you call it? A criminal, effectively, and so was Sam,
right?
Because Captain America broke Sam out of that island prison, whatever the fuck the island or whatever they call it.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
So they're still, on the run, yet somehow now they're working for the government as well. Like, did they just forget? Like, all right, well, don't worry about that stuff that happened in the past. We need you to do this now, kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah, there goes Chris. Chris. Yeah, there you go, Liv Tyler. Yeah. So it's like, so basically, when you see what's his face coming into She-Hulk, Tim Roth, and then now you know that Liv Tyler is going to be in. So basically, this is really supposed to be a Hulk movie.
Yeah.
Again, and then so basically, the events of this movie is supposed to catapult Bruce Banner into. So basically, this movie is the catalyst for World War Hulk.
Right.
So what happens in Captain America
and the Thunderbolts as well.
No. What I'm saying is, it's like, from everything I've read, I dropped a video on this as well.
I think I'm gonna call it right now.
Yeah. So
the event that causes the Hulk to snap is going to be Liv Tyler's only going to have a contract for one movie. It'll be this, and she'll end up dead, and that will make Bruce snap, even though he hasn't seen her in fucking decade. But that'll make him snap and revert back from Professor Hulk to Standard Hulk. I just have a feeling like they're bringing her back just to kill her off.
you think so?
Yeah, because it has to be something like what would cause the Hulk, Bruce Banner, to completely snap. And there's not a lot of things that are in the current universe that would cause that. Because he's already already lost Black Widow.
He has Scar.
Yeah, he's got a son, but do you think they're going to kill his son off?
No, I think. Well, I mean, the thing is, they might involve him in something fucked up.
Yeah.
You know,
still,
and
I mean, you have to look at it like what would cause you to completely lose your shit and go off the rails.
Yeah, well, see, from what I'm gathering of this movie from Captain America 4 is basically Sam is gonna get himself into some shit that he can't really fucking deal with.
Right, because he's not a fucking superpowered person.
Exactly, and so basically, he's going to be dealing with even the leader. The leader, with him just being who he is, he's still stronger than fucking Sam.
Right. Well, he's definitely.
You know, I mean, yeah, he got a big head, but he's not. He don't have a big head like the dude that Patton Oswalt plays. In the fucking cartoon. MODOK. Yeah, but but he does have a large head, but at the same time, with his gamma, he doesn't have like the strength of a regular guy. Right. But he's not as strong as the Hulk either.
Well, yeah,
and I guess the gamma worked differently for him to where, but he was already a smart guy.
Yeah, he was already like genius level,
right?
And the whole concept of the big head is because his brain grew in size,
right?
And that's what made his head be so bulbous and
right, so big, right?
So I mean, yeah, he's like basically Sam is going to be outgunned on both fronts,
right? Exactly, and then
good, smart wise, and definitely not strength wise.
Right, and then from there, I hear that he's gonna. So basically, Mark Ruffalo is gonna be in the movie,
right?
So Mark Ruffalo is gonna be in the movie, and because he's gonna need. But I heard that it might be more than just Mark Ruffalo. So I heard that he's gonna basically bring on a team of heroes to handle what the leader, Thunderbolt Ross, and whatever else is going to be thrown at him in this movie.
Right.
And then from there, the events, and then of course, if you got Thunderbolt Ross, then you got Liv Tyler. So, then you got, I heard that they have pretty, some scenes between Sam Wilson and Thunderbolt. So basically, Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie have scenes where they're sitting there talking shit to each other or whatever. And from whatever happens in this movie is what's going to turn Bruce into World War. So something in the movie is going to fucking snap him out of Professor Hulk, because they say that this movie is what's going to lead into World War Hulk. This is the movie, Captain America 4. But again, they're using the Hulk again, like in all these other fucking movies. If I'm not mistaken, what movie was it? The Avengers, where the Hulk was fucking chasing after. Remember where the Hulk fought Iron Man? Where the Iron Man came with the Hulkbuster. Again, the Hulkbuster. That's another fucking Hulk storyline. And it's like it's funny because for every Avengers you know, and it's something that involves a shitload of superheroes. A major Hulk storyline is always underlining all these fucking movies, man.
Yeah, that was Ultron. They did that in.
Yeah, Age of Ultron. So, Age of Ultron, you have a Hulk subplot in there. Hulk Ragnarok, another Hulk, you know, subplot. Captain America 4, New World Order, another fucking Hulk subplot. Yeah. And to be honest, Hulk, man, his stories be where he's fucking fighting like he's on some monster shit.
Yeah. Well, and that's obviously, like we talked about earlier, why they're trying to get the full rights back from Universal.
Right. But I think for them to be calling a World War Hulk movie now, I think something's happened with Universal. Because
it's possible.
Why would they be saying, hey, we're doing World War Hulk from Disney, and Universal is not trying to sue, or, you know, they're not refuting, they're not fighting, that they know what all this is leading into.
Right.
Because articles that say, hey, this is leading.
Right. In the legal sense, technically Universal they can mention whatever they want to mention, but until production actually starts to happen on a movie like that, that would be Universal's only course of action at that point, would be to say, hey, wait a minute, we have distribution rights. You know, they can sit there and talk and blow smoke out their ass, who, you know, doesn't mean anything. Like, I mean, Christ, what was it? The guy who plays Hulk, what's his name?
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo, yeah. Like, he had said that, 2-3 years ago. Oh, no, we're going to do a solo Hulk movie, blah, blah, blah. You know, like I said, they could blow smoke, but until it actually happens, you know, Universal is just sitting there going like, go ahead, pull the trigger. Come on.
Yeah,
because that's mad money for them.
Yeah, that's true. Chris says, don't forget Disney doesn't have the rights to make a solo Hulk. Yeah. So they'll always integrate Hulk stories into other movies. But, you know, the thing is, the integration. So it's like basically you have a whole just Age of Ultron that took all the Avengers with the subplot of a Hulk movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, damn. See, that lets you know how big the Hulk is. Like if you have the Hulk subplot in all these fucking movies, but all these movies are team movies and things that are bigger than just like one hero. I mean, even with Thor Ragnarok, you threw in Valkyrie and Borg or where fuck the little rock Taika Waititi, you know, dude that he was playing. Yeah. You know, you consider all that shit. It's always more than just Hulk and another character. It's Hulk and a whole fucking team of people.
Right.
So if it's not like Hulk and the Avengers, it's Thor, Sif or a Valkyrie and whoever the fuck else was a part of all that. It's like, I don't know, man. See, and that lets you know how big the Hulk is, though. Because if the Hulk has to underline every one of these fucking movies some way, shape, form of, that lets you know, man, Hulk is. See, the thing is, you didn't see a lot of other movies having a subplot of other heroes in them. It's everything's the subplot is Hulk movies, Hulk storylines.
Well, now I will say this, and maybe it's only because of the original story, but the Age of Ultron, like the whole concept of Scarlet Witch fucking with each of them,
right?
Like, and making them see things, like with Tony Stark and with Thor, and even Scarlet Witch. Like, you got bits and pieces of other characters' backstory. Like with Black Widow, it goes all the way back to the Red Room and her going and being trained and all that. It wasn't a huge part, but it was a piece of her history in that movie.
Right.
And the thing with Thor saw future events, not past. Whereas with Black Widow, it was her past that was creeping up on her. With Thor, he saw, effectively the end of Asgard.
Right.
And having what's his face?
Odin die.
Well, not just Odin, but who's God, I can't remember his name.
To my gatekeeper.
Yeah, what's his name?
Oh yeah, you talking? I forgot what his fucking name is. In real life, I forgot what the fuck his name is too. Damn, man, you guys in the chat, y'all know who we talking. Idris Elba.
Heimdall. Yeah, Idris Elba. So Heimdall, he sees Heimdall, and Heimdall is basically, you killed us all. Like he's seeing future events, and that's how he ties everything together with those stones, right? I mean, it's not necessarily a backstory for him, but it is. They were that whole vision scene was him seeing his movie later on, where Asgard is destroyed. So basically, he sees Ragnarok in the future, and I mean, the whole thing was kind of like each character that got affected by Scarlet Witch had this weird kind of like Captain America seeing his past, and if he hadn't had disappeared, what his life would have been if he hadn't, frozen and whatever.
Right.
Which they touch on multiple times in multiple movies, like him seeing a couple, a man and a woman together, and he suddenly has a flashback of his past and whatnot. Like, yeah, that whole sequence with Scarlet Witch fucking with them was to do that, was to give you bits and pieces of each character that got affected.
Yeah, their origin, their history,
or what drives them. Even like with Tony, it was, where he sees all the Avengers dead, and as he approaches Captain America kind of wakes up and grabs him and said, I forget what he actually says, something about, you could have prevented this or something like that, which leads him to create Ultron. Yeah, it's just it's weird. Like, and I think they've really mishandled Scarlet Witch as a character, because
they have,
like, in the grand scheme of things, she's Omega level character, just like her dad.
Magneto. It's like I don't know. It's like for you again, man. Look, so much shit has came out with a lot of superhero characters. A lot of shit has came out where the things that they're attached to has never even, like you got Scarlet Witch without fucking Magneto. You got Venom without Spider-Man. You got all this dumb shit, man. It's like, damn, I mean, Joker movie was cool, but you got a Joker movie with no Batman?
Batman.
And the thing is, you could have pulled off a Joker movie to where it could have had Batman, and then at the end of the movie, the Joker still gets away. It's like, dog, Batman never always caught Joker every time he fucking seen him. He didn't even catch the Joker the first time.
Well, that is the whole dichotomy between Batman and Joker.
As the fucking Red Hood.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the ongoing scenario between Joker and Batman.
Right.
It's always,
so I mean, the thing,
he's a step ahead,
Right. But you could have had it to where the Joker could have escaped at the end of the movie. Like, it could have been a thing where it could have been like a Joker movie and have the Batman try to stop him, and at the end the Joker finds a way to get the fuck out of there so that he can live to fight another fucking day or cause trouble, another day or whatever the fuck. Didn't have to mean that, it had to be a one-off, and that way you could have a Joker too, and have it with Lady Gaga's fucking Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, but damn, it's like people. It's like these companies are putting out so much shit with things that are supposed to be connected to it, and nothing's connected to nothing, and everything's trying to be its own standalone shit. Like you have a Morbius fucking movie without Spider-Man.
Yep. Well, they are supposed to pull that all together at some point.
When in a couple years when nobody gives a fuck, it's like, come on, man.
Well, I mean, I don't know what Sony plans, but I
You
mean,
know, it's like okay, you see the Avengers, you see everybody fucking fighting Thanos, but guess what? After like years after he dies, guess who shows up? Fucking Adam Warlock. Who gives a fuck now? Adam Warlock is solely connected to Thanos, but then he shows up what fucking 3-4 years after he gets his ass whooped. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know Adam Warlock existed at some point as a part of Guardians, but that was much later. He was actually a Guardian at one point. And this is effectively this is how they're going to continue to do Guardians movies, is they're going to shake up the cast. They're going to have Adam Warlock become the leader of the Guardians at some point, or at least a member.
And then at that point, they should call it the Infinity Watch.
Right. Yeah. But, you know, it depends on what other characters they bring in. So if I'm not mistaken, Infinity Watch was a bigger group, like bigger names in it.
Right. And look at these two, man. Sentient was like, no one really dies, Chris, like ever. And then Chris was like, Sentient, dildo, except Uncle Ben. Yo, you guys are fucking wild, man. You guys are funny.
Now I will say this, you know, that is an issue that I would take with comic books is that they are too quick to kill off someone and then too quick to bring them back.
Right.
So there's no stakes. Like,
well, I mean,
eventually.
I mean, there's been, I mean, the one that they fucking have held on to for the longest that would have been impactful to even bring them back has been Captain Marvel from Marvel Comics. Yeah, Marvel. Yeah. I tell you what, Captain America. You know.
Well, yeah, they made the mistake of making him a Hydra agent, and then quickly pull that back by bringing another one in. So the Captain America we have in the comics now isn't even the 616 version of him. Because he's still in jail or whatever. That was the Cosmic Cube.
The original Captain America is fuck, man.
Yeah, they used the comics Cosmic Cube to pull an alternate version of Cap into the 616 when they effectively broke the first one by making him a Hydra agent.
They need to fix that shit, man.
Yeah, I don't think they ever will. They'll just run with it as it is now. Because if I'm not mistaken, he wasn't even like a young version of Cap. He's Elder Cap. So he's got like the white hair and all that.
Yeah, that's wild.
But yeah, I mean that's and the problem with that is you get writers that want to do something so drastic that you get stories like this, like oh my God, Cap has always been Hydra. Like really? Like for all those years that he fought against Hydra, then he suddenly is Hydra?
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's
you know, it's funny
but
that
I mean,
you. No, go ahead. I
was going to say they did the same thing with Wolverine. Like they wanted so badly to replace Wolverine with X-23,
right?
That they basically poured adamantium over him.
Oh yeah,
and locked him in an eternal cell. And then when everybody was like, "Nah, that's not my Wolverine," they had to backtrack it and magically get him out of the adamantium.
And then be like somehow. The search for Wolverine went on.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody bust them out of the shits, and yeah, I remember that. That was kind of wild. It's funny.
But I mean, it's they typically take a step, realize they screwed up, and then have to backtrack the snot out of it. And then they do that.
It's funny. Chris Persian says, "Luckily, Chris says, luckily we got the animated Planet Hulk movie. MCU will never top that. I know, right?
Yeah,
I appreciate that with the Heimdall. Yes, Asgard now. Oh, with the 2 S's. That's funny. You see this?
And he's right too. Making Cap a Hydra agent belongs in a What If. Absolutely. Like if you want to do even a more than a one-shot What If, you could do that, and just make like what if he was turned by Red Skull and whatever.
Right.
Told to clean his room or some shit. Yeah, I mean, basically, it should have never happened in the main universe. But bad writers are bad writers. No matter what you ask them to do, they're going to do something off the wall.
Yeah, and you see this. Chris is right about this, man. Ethan has even spoke about how X-23, like he created X-23.
Yeah.
Ethan Van Sciver created X-23 because he had worked for Marvel for like a year or two.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just supposed to be one of the clones. Like, because there was a few of them where they took his DNA and made alternate versions, the whole Weapon X program. And right. She was one of the derivatives. And his son, quotes, son, is also a derivative. Like he's not actually his son. He's
right.
He's a clone made from his DNA. Yeah.
Right. So Ethan Van Sciver created X-23, and from what I understand, they act like they weren't interested in the in the concept, and then later on came out with the concept and never credited him for it.
Right.
So they fucking screwed him over on the whole X-23 thing. And he did that for them for that year or two that he had worked for Marvel. Yeah, they fucking dirtbags, man. They did them dirty.
But again, that's current management. I don't think, if that had happened in the 60s or 70s, that wouldn't have been the case.
No, if I'm not mistaken, that was if I'm not mistaken, that was around the 2000s. That was
about the point she showed up.
Yeah, that was I would have to say in the last 20 years or so, man, when he did that. But that was yeah. So there you have it. That's man, did you what was I gonna tell you, man? Oh shit. Damn. I forgot what I was gonna tell you. I had something to tell you too, man.
Yeah, it would have been 2003. Because that's her first appearance.
Right.
And of course, the quote, this is why I laugh at the Marvel database. It's like the quote above is, I'm not X-23. I'm not your experiment. I'm not your leaping property. You are the last person to ever think that they can own me. Oop, I lost my monitor. There we go. I'm not a thing. I'm Laura Kinney. I'm the daughter of Sarah. I'm the daughter of Logan. I'm Wolverine. Like, no, you're not. Wolverine exists. You're not Wolverine.
Boy. Man, no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, that was all leading up to the whole adamantium pore garbage. And I remember having a discussion with a friend of mine I used to shoot darts with, and she kept saying, because she was a huge Wolverine fan, and when it happened, and she's like, I'm so bummed. Like, she told me all about it, and I was like, they'll bring him back. No, they're saying he's gone forever, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nah, they'll bring him back. He's too prominent a character to leave in this
Right.
pseudo dead state, because he, it was never officially said that he was dead, because he was trapped in this adamantium, and you couldn't verify that he was actually dead, because that's not how you kill him. He would continue to exist and die, and then come back and die, and come back and die, trapped in that adamantium.
Yeah, that's a hell of a way to.
Right.
Yeah, it's a hell of a way to do them. Man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the current people who run things. Like, that's their whole thing is taking these classic, full of lore characters and just dumping all over them, because they want to promote the new characters. And it's like, the new characters are just copies of the old characters. Like, you're not doing anything new. You're just altering the character a little bit and then continuing on.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's I don't know. I what's up, Chris? He says she's not the daughter, since she's a clone of Logan, not his progeny.
Progeny. Yeah, basically offspring.
Right.
Yeah, no, he's exactly right. Effectively, no, I mean, it's hard to say, because like with cloning, like with traditional offspring, there's a variation, because you have a mix of two sets of DNA. Because
Right.
she's not a mix of two sets of DNA, she wouldn't be a daughter. She would be an exact copy, which, is a little too exact, because even fraternal twin sisters have variations, in their DNA, because it's, again, a mix of the father and the mother. Yeah, she's just a clone. I mean, to me, it's just a clone that they toyed with, on the DNA side of things.
Right.
Because obviously, if you take a clone of something, it would be an exact copy, so it would just be another Logan. So they had to toy with the DNA to make a female in the first place. I mean, effectively, I guess they could have used DNA from a female. I mean, she says in that quote, I'm the daughter of Sarah. I guess there was a Sarah, in quotes, that was the other half of the DNA sequence. But yeah, I mean, it's like they don't understand DNA sequencing, and they just say, "Oh, she's the daughter," and it's like, no, that's not how that works.
Man. I don't know. Marvel is
A mess.
Yeah.
I do have something I want to
Sure.
kind of share.
What's that?
Hold on, let me bring it up here. I gotta get. Take a second. This is from the guy who does Emergency Awesome. It's just a tweet.
All right, let me.
But it's cryptic enough to be like, strange. So Rosario Dawson put this out. Sky Guy, they know. See you soon. Snips. Now I'm assuming by Snips she means the character she was playing in the Netflix Marvel series. But I don't know who Sky Guy is. Don't know. I'm still trying to figure out the Sky Guy part.
You ever looked up Sky Guy?
I didn't. I had just literally seen it, so I have no clue. I haven't looked yet. And nobody's responded to it, so I don't know.
Right. Chris says, I believe the backstory was Sarah was the gene scientist that created, then partially raised Laura, but she also kept her in the laboratory so as a nice mom and Black Widows in the Widow program.
Oh, you know what? I just found it. Okay, so the whole Sky Guy and Snips thing is a Star Wars reference, actually. It has to do with Ahsoka Tano and Anakin.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought Snips had to do with Star Wars. That's why I was like, maybe if you looked it up, it might. Yeah, that makes more sense because if I'm not mistaken, I think Snips was a character that was during the Clone Wars cartoon of running around with Ahsoka and Anakin.
Right.
Yeah, so obviously they're saying, hey, get ready for the cast of the Clone Wars that was running around with Ahsoka and them, not the actual clones, but everybody else.
Right.
Well, I guess we know who will be watching Ahsoka, right?
Right. Yeah, not me. Yeah, I'm completely out of that. I black pilled on Star Wars long ago.
Oh man, I tell you, man. The only thing I'm digging with Star Wars is the EU, man. That's all, man. Just
Yeah,
and then
Legends or whatever.
right, and all that. And I won't even call it Legends, man. That's what Disney calls it. Disney doesn't even, they want to call it whatever, but steadily picking from that motherfucker. I don't know. They suck, man.
Yeah.
But I like the EU along with I guess Rogue One might be the only thing out of all of this that I would even, and that's what a lot of people would say, Rogue One is the most competent thing that they've fucking put out there. And other than that what the Heart of the Jedi book that came out a couple years ago up on everybody's noses and shit, that wasn't supposed to have been the book that came out from the EU in Amazon. It wasn't even supposed to have been made, but someone made it and fucking released it.
Interesting.
I got a copy. Yeah, matter of fact, I never even opened it. Like, it's still in the Amazon bag. I never even fucking cut it open. That shit's worth hundreds of dollars, man. So basically, I think it was like about 2 years ago, 3 years. Yeah, about 2 years ago or so. This author that wrote a Star Wars story back in the EU, the story never was released, and one day the book gets released on Amazon 2 years ago, and people bought the shit. I bought one copy. I shouldn't. If I would have known, man, I would have bought more. But people were buying copies, and then they started selling them for like hundreds of dollars online because this was a book from the EU that, for somehow I don't know how Amazon fucking printed the book, and Disney didn't even sign off on it. But then once shit down, and if you weren't one of the people that were able to get a copy, then, huh?
Oh, we lost you for a second there. That's all.
No, I was saying that, man, it was crazy how, they did that up under Disney's noses. And when Disney found out, they told Amazon to stop that shit. But then by that time, all the books were already sold. And I got my copy. And again, you could probably look up The Heart of the Jedi. Let me see if anybody's even selling that motherfucker online anymore for any amount of money. Last time I seen it sold, it was going for 300. I saw it sold for as much as 1,000 at one point.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Media like that, and there's a few things out there that are like that where they're in such limited quantity because of contractual agreements or whatever.
Right. Let me see. Oh shit. Yep. $300. One person selling for $300, another person 230, 300, 250, 500.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. 300. Yeah, people ain't fucking around with this price. Like this 200. Okay, well that's Heart of the Jedi rare printing, $200. 500 for another person, 250. How much is this? 300. Yeah, it's basically 200 is the cheapest you'll find it online, and the most 500. And again, I seen it go for 1,000, and that was like the first week that shit came out, and people were trying to buy the shit out of them. I even saw it where like Echo Base Network were giving them, so.
Right.
Yeah, that was some good shit, man.
Yeah, I would hold on to that for a bit.
Yeah, and mine, I never like my shit is still in the Amazon. Like I never even took it out of the fucking bubble wrap. The whole thing that it came is it's still, it just says Amazon on the package with address or whatever on it. I never put a knife to it, never ripped it out. It's still in the package, sitting in the next room. Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I would definitely leave that as is for a while, at least until you stop seeing them show up on Amazon now, or at least slow down to a point where you maybe only find one or two.
Shit, have you looked it up? You never heard anything about that?
No, I didn't. Once the modern Disney shit started happening, I pretty much.
Hey, well, I tell you what, look it up, man. You never seen the cover? Look at the cover for it, man. Heart of the Jedi. And I think you can read it. They have a PDF on it that you can download and check.
Yeah. Okay. So it's got the original characters on the cover, or is that an alternate cover?
Yeah, but it's an original story. It's a Han, Luke, and Leia story. But it was written easily about 15, 20 years ago. So it was before Disney bought anything, but it was never released. And again, people know when it was written, and it was never greenlit to be put out, and people don't know what the fuck happened to where Amazon was the one responsible for printing it and putting it out, and they don't know how did Amazon get the green light, or how did all that shit come about for this dude to put out this original story.
Right.
But it happened, and fuck. And then when I got mine, I think I spent like $10.
Yeah, I think that's what they're.
Yeah, it was
like I'm on a Reddit post about it, and a lot of people are like, don't spend the $500. You can still get the PDF and take that to a printing store. I mean, it's. If you do that, it's fine if you want to read it, but that they don't understand original print versus copy. Now, I guess that Reddit post, the guy ended up with a fucking copy, and he was not happy.
Yeah, Chris said it was written in 91, canceled in 95.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a number of copies out there. I would assume if it sat for 4 years, and like you said, there's a PDF of it out there, so you could read it without opening.
Right. But man, just to see something from the from the old EU just pop up in current time, fuck yeah, man. That shit was.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I could care less about anything Disney Star Wars at this point.
Nah,
I'm so
but even
black.
like even when you look at the back of the book, it doesn't say Disney. Like there's nothing. Disney's
Well,
not
yeah,
even in it. Like
it wasn't part of their plan.
Right. And yeah, it wasn't authorized. Nothing. It's a straight up book, man. And holy shit, man, that was it was written to be a direct sequel to Return of the Jedi. Oh shit.
Right.
Now that I didn't know. Okay, appreciate that, Chris. Damn.
Well, now
Chris,
you know why Disney didn't want it around.
No, exactly. Oh shit. All right. Thanks, Chris. Chris laced us up with that knowledge, man. Thank you, man. Oh shit. All right. Well, I mean, I know I love the EU. I have like Heir of the Empire. I have a shitload of EU books. I have a majority of them. The ones that I would actually go in to get, there's few in between that I would actually need, but it wouldn't be like I got the more expensive ones, like Heir to the Empire. That shit's fucking.
Right.
I remember when about 2 years ago, I was buying a shitload of comic books online, and about a year and a half ago, I started unboxing them. And 2 years ago, when I was buying up all these comics, I came across a comic book collection of Star Wars comics, and the comic books that I came across were Dark Horse. Like somebody was just selling all their Star Wars shit, and they sold it to me for like, it had to be like $60. But then in mint condition, I got like a whole small, like a short box filled with nothing but Star Wars in mint condition, the whole short box. And
Right.
when you look into it, like even Heir of the Empire, I was talking to Loki. He was like, "Yo, I bought Heir of the Empire for $300. I think he told me he paid for it."
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh shit, you paid about $300 for Heir to the Empire?" I was like, "I got that shit in a short box full of nothing but Dark Horse, Star Wars, and that." And he was like, and he kind of looked at me like, I guess I was tripping. Like he spent $300, and I was like, I only spent $50 and got the whole short box with all of the motherfuckers in there, and you only got 4 comics for $300.
That's insane.
But but that's me. The way I go look for comics and go, searching for them shits. I couldn't pay $300 for that, man. But it was just because I saw it was a hell of a deal. I couldn't pass it up, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how many different publishers have dealt with Star Wars comics. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different publishers.
Right.
One of them being technically newspaper print.
Right.
That's crazy.
Man. And Chris says, since 24 bought up Heir to the Empire, how do you feel about Heir of the Empire being adapted to be Ahsoka's story?
No thanks.
That's what's happening, right?
Yeah, and again, I'm keep every time I hear more information, I black pill even further.
Right.
You know, a lot of the legend stuff that should have been used has just been pushed to the side, and that's where a lot of the stuff that I read came from. So, the Han Solo origin story, the movie didn't do it justice. The 3-book run way back, and this is probably 82, 83, 84, somewhere around there, was much more in-depth and expansive. Like, there was more to it, and all the characters that they created for the movie were not necessarily part of that book. Like, it was just so frustrating because I grew up on that shit. So
right. So let me ask you this, man. So basically, the whole thing about L337 being
that wasn't the thing.
Being the that now that she became a part of the fucking Millennium Falcon, that was how he was able to do the fucking run.
Yeah, that was complete bullshit. I mean, it was still fly by the seat of your pants in the books, but like, yeah, I mean that all that movie did was strip any kind of ability that Han Solo might have had and push it into the dirt and put something else on top of it. Like, no, L337 is not in the books at all.
Yeah, I know that, but oh man.
Yeah, shit. And the further they keep stepping away, now they want to do another fucking Rey movie. Like just get away from the Skywalker saga. It's over. You don't need to continue your story because no one cares.
Well, I was thinking like now, all right, let me ask you this, man. So now everything has happened. Who's going to be the next villain for the new Star Wars? I'm thinking it's going to be the what's it? Usam Vong,
yeah. Which is, yeah. I mean, they're gonna,
because the thing is, there's no one left,
right? Like, technically, and again, it's, you get to the end of Return of the Jedi and the Rebellion won, but they didn't really win because Disney had to bring some variation of it back. Right. So they've won twice, right? Who else do you have? We'll take this other character that his origin is somewhere else and bring it in and use it here. It's just like, it's just frustrating.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I can't even believe it, man.
Yeah, and Chris mentions, another clone of Palpatine. Like, seriously, let the motherfucker die. Like, it should be over. And I'll say it till the day I die. They could have gone back to an earlier time frame and told new stuff with new characters,
right?
And not had anything to do with, the Skywalkers, and it would have been fine. I don't think people would have complained much if they got a Knights of the Old Republic prequel,
right?
Something telling of, like, touch on like, you want to do this Mandalorian TV show? Fuck. Tell people about where the Mandalorians fucking come from.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I've heard the Mandalorian shit the bed, man. So
yeah, it's.
Well,
But
you
even then,
know,
even if you take it out of whatever story they've created for the Mandalorian, like the whole concept of the Mandalorian is far greater than what they've told,
right,
and has so much lore behind it. Why they're a significant group, because they're not a race. They started as a race, but because of their conquests, they expanded based on their conquests, not
right,
in reproducing their race. So there's so many different Mandalorians that have joined the cause because their planet got conquered. That I mean, even in Knights of the Old Republic 2, having one of your companions be a former Mandalorian was a significant thing because
right.
it was
I love that
tied
game.
to, well, yeah, and it was tied to both of those games because the whole concept of that series was Jedi went off to fight in the Mandalorian Wars because the
Right.
Council didn't want to get involved.
Yeah.
So you had this offshoot Jedi group go off, fight the Mandalorian Wars, and then come back as Sith. Like all of that lore and story, you could have done something with it, and they don't want to do it.
Yes.
Hell, even the Jedi Civil War, they could have touched on like any of that time frame.
Well, I know they got the acolytes coming, so
Yeah, well, that's not quite the same. And honestly, they're doing the acolytes as an offshoot. It's not like it's still part of the canon, but they're only doing that to appease the people that are like, fuck, will you stop giving me Skywalker stuff?
right. Well, I know I won't be watching any of that shit in the Mandalorian.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, like the acolytes go so far back. That's Jedi origin, or Jedi as they were called originally. Like that's way, 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 way back. Pre lightsaber stuff.
Yeah, it's like I already seen the team, like all women, maybe one or two dudes,
For
and
fuck's
they're all
sake.
kind of femboys kind of thing. So I won't be fucking with that either, man. Hold on. Chris says Poppy Can Die, a miniseries explained he had thousands of clones in tanks due to his connection to the dark side being so strong that physical body can't last. Hence using clones to transfer into.
And that's all that is a way to explain why they would use them again. Like I get it. They gave an explanation, but I mean, anybody can write something and be like, no, this is why. Like, none of this is based in reality. So you can go anywhere you want and explain off anything you want with a mini series or a short story or a comic book or whatever, and just use that as the purpose behind bringing him back.
Right.
It was never explained in the original movies that he didn't die. Right. It was assumed, obviously, because there was no body, but like, they're just using it as a vehicle to continually use this character.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It comes back to the same thing in comics. A character can't truly die because eventually they'll just write him back in or her back into existence. It's the same thing. Like, if there are no consequences, what's the point?
Yeah, that's true. I know. Like with me, when it comes to Star Wars, the only thing that I can honestly look forward to is the old novels, the old, the old comic books. even like the first run that dropped it, in Marvel.
Oh God, 70 whatever.
Yeah. I like those. I've never gotten a chance to pick up on those. I would definitely would. I definitely would scoop that up, man.
Yeah, the original stuff at least stuck to the concept of the original story,
Right.
and just filled in little gaps here and there, which is fine. As long as they stick to the lore, that's
Right.
cool.
Chris says, except Uncle Ben, he has the only character that has never come back.
Well, Marvel never came back either. Somebody just took his name.
What's up, Jeebus? What's going on, brother? Man, shit, man. Hopefully you're doing well, man. I know we at the 2-hour mark, man. We're gonna go ahead. It's already like 7:15. You work tonight?
Yeah. Tonight's my Friday though, so I'll have the next 2 days off.
Oh, okay, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man. Unless you
No, we're good.
all right. Well, wanted to go ahead and wrap this up. Hopefully, you all had a good time. I know I did. Love kicking it with y'all. Love kicking it with my brother New Bomb, and
Yep.
Hopefully, Vigilante is all right, and Baron is doing well with his repainting my Batmobile. I feel you, man. Shit, I wish I had a. Do I still have my Batmobile? I had the Superpowers Batmobile, man, and I think I might still have it. I have to look. It's funny because it's right next door, and I have to I can't remember if it's in there or not. But yeah, I love the Batmobile, man. Well, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Hopefully, everyone's has had a good evening. You guys have a great week this week. I'll be on streaming all week or whatever, and yeah. Oh, Sentient said, all right, what's up, oppressors? Yeah, take it easy, brother. Yeah, man. So you guys take care, man. Hopefully everyone enjoys your evening.
24 dipped out early.
Sentient Dildo, yeah, appreciate that, New Bomb. Chris Persia, thank you. Like to say thank you to Penny. Appreciate you, Lady Miss. Thank you for being here and having our backs, everyone. Zax, Sentient Dildo, thank you, man. Jedi Bill 79.
Lost you again.
Brother. Also, Low Spick Linux Laptop. Like to say thank you, man. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate y'all. Thank you all for being here. You guys have been awesome. Damn, Jeebus, I know you coming at the end, man. Sorry about that, brother. I know we've been on for like 2 hours, man. And hopefully you'll check out the replay, man. But thank you for being here, man. And thank you all. So you all have a good night. Y'all take it easy, and we will catch up with y'all next time. So take care, y'all. Peace.
See you.